All right, Joellen, let's talk about some great annual options for the spring garden.
Yes, it's that time of year again.
It's that time of the year.
Starting to see them everywhere. I'm going to go over a few for each kind of environment, and we're going to start off with the hot and sunny annuals.
I like it, hot and sunny.
Hot and sunny.
Right.
Number one, Lantana.
Yes, love Lantana.
It's probably the best for the sun and dry conditions. Many colors, but they can develop woody stems, and some of them are trailing and some of them are upright.
Okay.
So take your pick. They can get up to 18 inches tall. Then next is portulaca or moss rose or purslane, all of those. They are yellow, kind of a succulent foliage on them. They're short, yellow, oranges, reds, whites, pinks, very bright colors. They stay short, about 6 inches tall, so they can kind of spill over the edge of a container, but they can take the heat in the sun.
Good.
Celosia next. Bright colors, yellows, reds, oranges, hot pinks. They're great, they love everything, but they self-seed.
Yes.
So they can become a nuisance, but some people love them.
Yeah.
So they're very easy to grow.
Yeah, I've grown those all over. Yeah, they're good.
And next, marigolds. Marigolds, yellows, whites, and reds, oranges, easy to grow from seed. One of the last, they bloom all summer long, and they are one of the last of my flowers to die in the frost.
Oh.
So I really like them. Easy to grow.
Didn't know that.
They stay around 12 inches. Next are zinnias, many bright colors and combinations of colors. There are small ones that only get about 8-10 inches tall, and they get up to over 2 feet tall.
Yeah.
So there's many different kinds, easy to grow, love the sun. Then there's vinca or periwinkle.
Yeah.
Nice, some are spreading varieties, there's upright varieties. Color range is usually white, pinks, and reds. Many of them may need supplemental fertilizer and or iron during the season. But the most important thing to remember about planting these, even though people love them and they are easy to grow, is don't put the same plant there every year. Vinca, if planted in the ground every year in the same spot, can develop Phytophthora fungal blight in the soil. And we do not need that in your soil, because then you won't be able to plant vinca again.
Right.
So we don't do it. Rotate your annuals just like you do your vegetable crops.
That's a good point.
Next, we're going to talk about part shade or part sun annuals.
Okay. So when we say part sun, part shade, how many hours are we talking?
Well, 3 to 4 hours a day, or sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less.
Sometimes a little less.
They can take quite a bit. And depending on how much part shade you get would be how many flowers you get on the plant. Sometimes they'll bloom better if they have a little bit more sun in the half of the day, or if it's less than that, then they won't bloom as much.
Gotcha.
Then first is coleus. Coleus is very easy to grow, mostly grown for its pattern of colors on the leaves, and they can get big, up to 18 to 24 inches tall. But the blooms then come up on top of the stems, but they're not grown for that. So you cut those off, and it keeps the plant shorter, and it keeps the plant wanting to develop those nice pretty leaves rather than going to seed.
Gotcha.
Next is gomphrena. A lot of people don't know about gomphrena. Very good plant, magenta, pinks, reds, and whites. Small, 10 inches to 2 feet tall, depending on what kind you get.
Okay.
And people don't realize that this is a lot of the filler that's in a potpourri. It's found in potpourri a lot, yeah.
I didn't know that.
But it goes well in the garden. Next is begonias. Oh my goodness, begonias. The foliage even is good for color with begonias. Reds, pinks, whites. These stay in about 12 inches to 2 feet. There are some newer varieties of begonias that are called big, and they get very large.
Called big.
Yeah. And that one plant will fill a container easily.
How about that?
But so anyway, but the begonias are good for a partly shady area.
Okay.
Ageratum.
Yeah.
Of course, one of the University of Memphis's favorite flowers because it's blue.
Ah, okay. Makes sense. Right.
Yes, and it comes in whites, blues, and sometimes some lavenders and pinks. Very nice rounded plant with green foliage, nice blue flowers that are very unusual because it's one color that you don't see a lot in flowers. So very nice and easy to care for.
All right.
Pansies. Now,
pansies.
in some of the country, we plant pansies in the wintertime. A lot of the country in cooler climates, they plant pansies in the summertime.
How about that?
Great way to many, many colors. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how many colors and color combinations of pansies. They all do well for partly shady areas. So enjoy.
Enjoy.
Petunias, supertunias, and calibrachoa. These are different plants that do better in different parts of the country. I kind of lump them together because they like the same environmental conditions, which is well-drained soils.
Okay.
These also, petunias especially, is like the vinca. You've got to rotate the crop. It can develop diseases in the soil that stay there, so you've got to rotate the petunias.
Okay.
Then lastly, we have our shade annuals.
Shade.
People who have just shady gardens. And now, just remember, if it's too deep a shade, they're not going to bloom much. So, you know, you might want to thin your trees or do something to put them in a little bit more sun.
Okay.
First of that is caladiums. Probably give you a big color splash for a shady area. You can only find them in the springtime for the summer plantings. They will get up to 24 inches tall. So keep space for them.
Yeah, you're going to need space.
And just watch, all of these annuals don't do well with wet root systems. So if you have irrigation systems, just be careful. Lobelia is another one that does well. Very prolific blue and white shades, cascading blooms, does good in containers. But this is also one of those that's better for cooler climates. It'll bloom all summer long. Torrenia, wishbone plant, another one. Small, very different color combinations. Usually bicolor flowers, not one solid color, but there are some vining ones that are solid. It is only going to be about 8 inches tall, so they're not going to be big. But they'll be something bright in the shady landscape.
Wishbone.
Wishbone plant, yeah. Yeah, it's the shape of the flower.
Oh, shape of the flower, okay.
Another one, New Guinea Impatiens. Very bright colors for the shade garden. 12 to 24 inches tall. They've got some different varieties of them, so they get different heights. The only thing is, especially the taller ones, you got to watch. They might be breaking up in storms at the end of the season. So, you know, if you can trim them a little bit during the year and keep them, you know, under 12 feet, that would be great. The beacon or the bounce impatiens have taken over the regular annual impatient because of downy mildew. But the beacon and the bounce are more resistant to the downy mildew. They come in bright colors and they all get about 12 inches tall. But again, because of the downy mildew, I wouldn't plant impatiens in the same spot every year.
Okay. It's a theme. Yeah, it's a rotation.
It's a rotation thing.
Not just for vegetables, but for
just for vegetables. And there's one last thing that we can talk about for foliage color. And these live in all shade, part shade, and sun. And that's Dusty Miller.
Dusty Miller, all right.
Dusty Miller will, I mean, it's going to thrive in one of those conditions more so than the others, but it will do well. Dichondra, which is a silver trailing vine that is nice to add to containers and baskets. And it can take any condition like that. And also sweet potatoes. You know, there's chartreuse and reds and bronzes and purples. All go well in containers, and even in the ground, they'll trail along the ground. All can take all those conditions.
All those conditions.
And those are some of the easiest ones that I know of to plant that you'll have success with in the summer.
All right, y'all heard it from Joellen herself. Thank you much, Joellen. That was good.